The anime begins with a boy named Makoto Masumi. It was a normal day like any other, but out of nowhere, a god appears and is surprised to learn that Makoto knows nothing about anything. The god explains that Makoto's parents are from another world. Makoto is surprised and says that it seemed strange to him that he never met any other relative. The god tells him that Makoto's parents signed a pact with the goddess from another world, accepting that when the day comes, they would give her what they valued the most. Makoto says that if he doesn't go, they will take one of his 2 sisters or the +18 magazines he had in his room. Makoto thanks the god. The god asks Makoto if he just wants to go to his world and say goodbye before abandoning his sisters. But the goddess of the other world claimed him and Makoto begins to disappear. Makoto reaches the other world and is received by the goddess. The goddess sees him and laughs at him for being ugly and tells him to leave. Makoto claims that he is there because she invoked him. The goddess tells him that it disgusts her and does not want to see him, but she gives him the ability to speak, write, and read any language apart from human. The goddess sends him away, and Makoto falls from the sky. The goddess wonders if he will die with the fall. However, Makoto is saved by the god Tsukuyomi. Tsukuyomi tells him that he did not expect the goddess to treat him so badly and that, in the world where Makoto lived, he did not enjoy the protection of the gods. In this new world, he could be very powerful. Tsukuyomi's body begins to blink, and he explains that it's because communicating with Makoto made him spend a lot of his power. Now he will have to sleep for about 4 hours. The pig is scared, and Makoto tries to show her that he's good by saving her. The pig ends up agreeing with him, and Makoto asks if she knows where he can find people. The pig tells him that there are no human towns, but there is a town nearby. Makoto asks where his town is, but the pig tells him that she was going to the divided mountain to offer herself as a sacrifice to Shen because of her magic. Makoto tells her that he can't use magic and asks if she can teach him. The pig accepts and teaches him. Makoto tries and manages to use magic, creating fire in his hand. The pig tells him to imagine a fireball and throw it at a target. Makoto concentrates and learns to use magic very quickly. He asks what level it is, and the pig helps him to know that it's level 1. Later, the pig was looking for Makoto and saw a written letter for him. Makoto thanks her for the magic he learned and that he is going to see what he can do with that Shen guy. Makoto says that he learned several spells and creates an arc of fire with his magic, testing it by pointing at something far away. A girl asks him what that is. Makoto tells the girl that there are people in her world. The girl tries his magic and loves it. Makoto begins to look around, and everything seems strange to him. He asks her about what sacrifices she's talking about, and Makoto tells her that they should go see Shen. Shen throws the scales that he lost in the fight, and Emma realizes that she's an orc. The orc tells him that Makoto came to the maidens that they had to sacrifice. Shen asks the orc if they would like to live in fertile lands. Makoto asks Shen why the orcs are with their suitcases, and Shen asks him if they gladly accept his offer to live in his fertile lands. Makoto asks Shen what he was doing last night and what fertile lands they're talking about. Shen tells him that the dimension where they made their pact became fertile, and he said he'd like to make a city there and put animals from there. Makoto tells him what would happen if those animals are ferocious, but a girl in human form tells Makoto that if that happens, she'll take care of it. Makoto says that Shen had a daughter, and Shen tells him that he didn't have a daughter, that she just divided. Makoto tells Shen to tell him what powers he has, but Shen tells him that there will be time for that later. Makoto asks the orcs if they agree to move, and the orc tells him that they are safe. Shen transfers them using his mist. Several days have passed since they took the orcs to the Aku dimension. Makoto sees a family photo in their memories and says that he could travel that world to find out more about the history of his parents. Makoto sets himself the goal of following in the footsteps of his parents and finding a human village. Then we see an old man running, and they attack him with some spears. We return with Makoto, and some orcs wanted to cut a tree but they couldn't. Makoto helps them cut the tree using his magic. The orcs are surprised, and Makoto asks if he got hurt. The orc tells him that it always happens to him. Makoto looks at him and heals him with his magic. Makoto hurts himself with his sword, but his healing powers don't work on him. Shen appears with the old man passed out and says that they are attacking Aku. Shen sees that Makoto got hurt and tells him that the smell of his blood goes to attract the creatures. The creature appears and attacks Makoto. Shen says that he fought with that spider before, but when he hurt her, she left alone. Makoto attacks the spider with his sword and cuts off its leg. Makoto uses his magic to create fire and fuses it with his sword. The spider disappears and appears above Makoto, but he dodges it, creates a fire spear and hits the spider. However, the spider regenerates by absorbing the magic Makoto attacked it with. Makoto creates more spears of fire and attacks it again, but it regenerates again. Makoto creates a shield, but the spider manages to pass through it and injures Makoto. Makoto uses his magic and attacks it, causing a great explosion. Makoto uses a bow and sends the spider away, but it falls to the ground because it ran out of strength. The spider regenerates again and catches Makoto. Shen cares for Makoto, but the spider, instead of eating him, appreciates how strong he is. Shen takes it from him and tells the spider if she remembers it. The spider tells him that she only thought about eating and that she doesn't remember her. Shen tells her that she has a special bond with Makoto, that's why she has a human form. Shen convinces the spider to make a pact with Makoto, and the spider takes on a human form. Makoto wakes up and sees that his injury's healed. Makoto sees a girl and says he has a bad feeling. He asks the girl who she is, and the girl tells him that she took human form after the pact and that she is the Black Spider. Makoto says that both parties were supposed to agree to make the pact, and the girl tells him that she will always serve him. Makoto says that now it turns out that he made a pact while unconscious, and Shen says that it is better than being followed by a giant spider. The dwarf introduces himself to Makoto and thanks him for defeating the Black Spider, and thus saving his village. Makoto tells him that it was nothing, and the dwarf asks him if he can bring his village to live there. Makoto says yes. Later, Shen tells Makoto to give a name to her and the new girl. Makoto decides to name Shen Tomo, and Shen is happy with that name. Makoto names the other girl Mine. Later, Makoto sees how more races have come to live in Aku. Makoto leaves, but Shen asks where he is going, and Makoto tells him that he needs to see humans and that's why he wants to go to a human village. Makoto approaches the village but sees a girl. He tries to greet her, but the girl is scared and runs away. Makoto approached the village, but they pointed at him. He didn't understand why they confused him with a monster and shot arrows at him, causing Makoto to run away and return to Aku feeling sad. A week passed and Makoto wanted to learn the human language to be able to communicate with the human village. The dwarf gave him a ring that contained his mana so that he wouldn't scare anyone. With the help of Shen and Mio, Makoto managed to infiltrate the human village. The three of them checked into a hotel, but Mio and Shen competed to see who had the highest level. They brought a scroll that read a level up to 16-0, and Shen had a level of 13-20 while Mio's level was 15-0. Shen didn't accept that Mio was stronger than her. Later that night, Makoto went out with Mio while Shen stayed at the hotel. A girl approached Makoto and asked him what he needed. The girl said she wanted to ask him for a favor and hugged Makoto. Makoto decided to take her to the hotel where they were staying. The girl told them that she was traveling with her older sister, who disappeared. Makoto asked her when was the last time she saw her, and the girl told him that it was a month ago. They kicked her out of the house where they rented for not paying, and now she is on the street. The girl confronted some men who wanted to steal her things in the cart, and she tried to contain herself, but accidentally hurt one and killed two men with her sword. The last one ran away out of fear, but Shen intercepted him and hit him with the handle of his sword, knocking him out. Makoto discovered that it was not a man, but a woman, and Shen was surprised. The girl appeared, and Makoto told her that she can eat and then leave to sleep. The girl said, "Sir," and Makoto told her to call him what she likes best. Then the girl called him brother and gave him a drawing she made of her sister before leaving. Makoto saw the girl's memories that Shen brought and discovered that they have the girl's sister. She asked Mio to go rescue her, and Shen and Mio set out to rescue the girl's sister. Makoto was with the girl, and the girl told him that she couldn't believe that no matter how much of a millionaire Makoto was, he didn't know how to drive a cart. Makoto told her that he let her drive because she was very skillful. The girl remembered her sister, and we saw a memory of her sister. To pay off her debt, her sister would do a mission, and when she finished it, she would be able to pay that debt. But when she returned from the mission, she said that they failed, and she was very hurt. We returned to the present and saw the girl's sister in a bad state. But Leo and Shen appeared and saved her. Leo healed her and used her magic to get out. When they left, an adventurer appeared. We returned with Makoto, and he told the girl that they had arrived, and the girl ran out and told him that she forgot something in her house. Makoto thought it was strange and decided to use his magic to spy on her. The girl was with some boys who asked her what else she knew, and the girl told them that Makoto sold some fruits for the sake of 500 gold coins. The boy told her to steal that money to pay off her sister's debt, and when she brings him the money, they are going to free her sister. The girl leaves, and Makoto begins to think that the city needs justice. She tells the adventurer that if he is the strongest in town, why did he not come to save the girl? The man tells her that it would be stupid, and his companions appear and tell him that they have already convinced the girl. The man tells them that recently a human with enormous mana was detected and that there are requests to kill him. The The man proposes Shen and Mine to join his group, but they reject him. The man laughs because they prefer to stay with him. That boy with the mask laughs because he is level 1 and must be very ugly under his mask. Shen and Mine get angry and hit the man, but he manages to put up a shield and avoid the attack. The girl is sad for having to steal from the boy who helped her, and a boy appears and tells her to go away. The girl gets up and tells him she's sorry, and the boy tells her that a dirty girl like her is going to give them a bad name. Makoto appears and tells him that she's his friend. The boy recognizes him and apologizes. Shen and Mine prepare to fight, and the man sends his team to attack them. Shen hits them all with a blow, and they fly away. Shen and Mine beat everyone and destroy the house. The man uses the girl's sister as a hostage, but Shen and Mine hit him and send him flying. Shen and Mine begin to fight over who did their job the best, and they destroy the entire town. The girl appears and meets her sister. Makoto sees her and says that ignoring her hair color, she is very similar to Heisukawa. Makoto asks Mine if she can make spider webs, and Mine says yes. Makoto ties Mine and Shen and throws them away as punishment for destroying the whole village. Later, Makoto says that with the help of Shen, they modified the memories of the villagers to avoid future problems. A girl asks if the monsters are still in the village, but an adventurer says that Shen and Mine defeated the monster because they have a higher level at 1000. The girl does not believe her, but Makoto convinces Shen to go train, and Shen listens to her. The girl apologizes to Mio for interrupting them since she thinks Mio is Makoto's girlfriend. Mio blushes and says she is only his assistant. Makoto notices that there are monsters ahead and tells Mio to take care of them. Mio kills the monsters, and everyone admires her. The girl's sister tells her that if they can collect the materials, Makoto says yes. The girl and Mine look at him strangely, thinking that Makoto is a pervert. The girl pokes out the eyes of the monsters that Mio killed, and Makoto says that he did not want to see someone who looks like Heisukawa doing that. They keep moving forward and find more monsters on the way. Makoto asks Mio to take care of it, but Mio refuses and tells him to do it himself. Makoto asks them about the weak point, and they tell him it's his abdomen. Makoto concentrates and kills everyone with his arrows. Everyone congratulates him. Later, they continue and arrive at the town of Tsaich. Makoto registers as an adventurer again, and they give him his card. The girl's sister tells her that she leveled up with the trip, and Makoto congratulates her and tells her that the materials are distributed. They do, and Makoto is left with Ruby's eyes. Everyone is sad to have to say goodbye, and Makoto asks them if they want to have one last dinner together. They all accept, and they arrive. Makoto is happy to see that there is food that he likes so much. A dwarf challenges Makoto to arm wrestle, and Makoto wins. They finish dinner, and Makoto tells Mio that it's time to go to sleep and leaves. Mio is excited because she is going to be alone with Makoto for sharing a room. Makoto arrives and asks Mio if she is going to sleep in that bed. Mio gets excited, but Makoto falls asleep quickly, and Mio is disappointed that nothing happened. The next day, they arrive at Aku. The Chibe version of Shen tells Makoto how construction progressed in Aku since he left. The dwarf appears and tells Makoto that he has something to show him. The dwarves built him armor, but Makoto tells them he does not want it. Makoto sees a suit and says he likes it and puts it on. Later, Mio shows Makoto that his relatives are training to look like humans, although it does not last long. An adventurer asks who accepted the highest job there was. A girl tells him that it was a strange boy with a mask. Makoto wants to do business with a man and tells him that he is level 1. The man tells him that he does not accept because it is a very low level. Makoto shows him the ruby eyes, and the man apologizes for doubting him. Makoto asks why he wants the ruby eyes, and the man tells him that he wants it to create a medicine for his wife and daughter. Makoto tells him that he can help him, and the man is happy and wishes him luck in the exam to be part of the guild. Makoto is surprised since he did not know there was an exam. Makoto goes and asks what he has to study to take the exam, and they tell him that he has to do 2 exams and that buying the book costs him 2 gold coins. Makoto thinks it's expensive but buys it, and when he sees the book, he is surprised and asks if he can take the exam right now. The girl who served him is surprised and says yes. Makoto takes the exam and says that most of them are math problems that in his world would be elementary math. The teacher tells him that the exam is very complicated, and Makoto tells him that it's over. The teacher reviews the exam and says that it's the first time someone approves someone with a perfect score so quickly. The teacher tells him to take a sphere out of a box, and what he gets is what he has to get to pass the exam. Makoto got a Riding Crystal, Maze Shaper, Illuminat X, and Howling Fang. The professor tells him to get that or something of similar value. but it will be impossible for him to get it since he needs to be at least level 50. Makoto remembers that he had materials that his group of adventurers gave him and gives them to the teacher. The teacher approves and tells him that he is the first to pass with a perfect and fast score. Makoto leaves the exam and is very hungry and wonders where Shen should be. Shen was training killing monsters. Shen shares his food with the inhabitants of Aku, and an orc appears and tells Shen that Mio entered the vault of Makoto's memories, and Shen runs out to find Mio. An orc asks him what happened to Mio, and the other orc tells him that he does not know. He only told him what Emma wanted him to tell Shen. When Shen arrives, he sees Mio writing, and Emma tells him Mio is translating Makoto's memories. Shen tells him that she is busy, and Emma tells her that she came back secretly to Aku, and that she was secretly eating crab, but she is not going to say anything to Makoto if she goes to work. Mio tells Shen to get to work, but Shen does not want to, and Mio tells him not to blame her. Makoto scolds her later. The Chibai version of Shen was with the orcs collecting, and when they all leave, she takes the opportunity to steal a fruit. But Makoto appears, and she gets scared and hides the fruit. Makoto tells her not to worry, that she can eat a little, and that he also came to eat secretly. Makoto thanks her for collecting them, and the little Shen tells him that few fruits grow lately due to the change in weather. She calls Makoto by telepathy and yells at him to come get her. Makoto runs and sees Shen and Mio fighting. Makoto does not understand anything, and a relative of Mio explains to him what was happening. Makoto calms them both down and tells Mio to return the memory to Shen, and tells Shen to tell him why when he returned to Aku, he did not contact him. Mine tells him that she did not say anything to him because Shen was eating crab and watching his series. Makoto asks Shen why he fought with Mio, and Shen tells him that Mio treats her like a video recorder, and Mio says that she does not like those crap series and that she wants to see two specific memories. Makoto sees them and says that one is an anime that his father forced him to see and the other is a series that a friend forced him to see. Makoto gives Mio permission to see those two memories. Later, Makoto returned to Tsuage because he has to get up early, and Mine and Shen are with him, and Makoto tells them that the room has 2 beds and they should give him one. Shen tries to provoke Makoto to sleep with her, and Mio does the same, but Makoto gets angry and says that he is going to sleep on the sofa. Makoto receives a message from the alchemist boy who tells him that he agrees to help the man to create that medicine. Makoto is happy that everything is going well and sees Mine and Shen are asleep. The next day, the alchemist greets him, and Makoto tells him that they have to go with the client. An adventurer does not believe that Makoto has passed the exam and tells the other boy to bring as many adventurers as he can because he is not going to let Makoto get away with it. Makoto and the alchemist were waiting for the customer. The man appears and apologizes for making them wait and asks them to come with him. The alchemist uses his magic to create ambrosia, but Makoto helps him finish faster, and the alchemist does not know what happened. After creating the ambrosia dose, a butler takes it to the man. The alchemist finishes making others, but the butler scares him and throws away the other doses. Makoto runs to save them so they do not break, and he succeeds. The butler tells him that the man is hurt. They go to see him, and the man tells them that he tried to give his wife the medicine, but she became violent and hurt him. The alchemist says that this was not an attack. It was a defense mechanism of the curse to avoid taking the medicine. Makoto tells the man to take him to his wife, that he is going to hold her so that they give her the medicine. He also tells the alchemist to make another dose with the remaining ingredients. The man says that having level 1 Makoto will not be able to hold her, but the alchemist tells him not to worry, that he will be able to. The man trusts him and tells him that his wife is behind that door. Makoto attracts her, and the wife appears and attacks Makoto. Makoto dodges her and manages to catch her. He tells the man to give him the medicine. The wife bites her husband's hand but manages to give him the medicine, and his wife returns to normal. Makoto tells him that now they have to go with their daughters. Makoto enters the daughter's room, catches her, and gives her the medicine. They manage to cure her. The alchemist appears with the other medicine but trips and falls. The butler manages to save the medicine. Makoto goes with the last medicine and enters the room. The girl tells him to run away, and Makoto realizes that he is conscious. Makoto tells him that everything will be fine, but the girl attacks him. Makoto catches her, and they manage to cure her. The man thanks him for helping to cure his wife and 2 daughters. Makoto leaves, and Shen and Mio appear outside. An adventurer attacks them at 2 o'clock. Shen and Mio are unharmed, and Mio says that compared to his master, that attack was nothing more than a simple breeze. Shen tells Makoto that they were watching them to kill them. More adventurers appear. One tells Shen and Mio to join them, and Mine asks him how much he is going to pay them. He tells her about 10 gold coins, and Mine accepts. Makoto telepathically thanks him for following the plan. The adventurers begin to attack, and Makoto dodges them. Shen did not attack because he expected Makoto to say the classic phrase. Makoto did not know what phrase until he remembers and says it. Shen begins to attack them and beats them all. The adventurer tells Mio to help him, and Mio tells him that whoever said he was not going to help never said he was going to help them. The other adventurer tries to escape, but Makoto hits him and stops him. The remaining adventurer tries to comply with Shen, but Shen beats him, and he thinks he is going to die. Shen sees his memories and spares his life. Makoto asks him why he gave them help to the Rembrandt family. The adventurer tells him that a shaman told him that they would only give him a dream curse to force him to rethink his attitude. He helped him because he told him that the spell did not endanger their lives. Makoto tells him that he understands what happened and to go to cure his friend. Mine tells the adventurer to pay him, and the adventurer says yes, but Mine takes all his money. Later, Lime, the adventurer, apologized to Rembrandt, and the butler says that he should apologize by giving up his life. But Rembrandt forgives him but restricts his work as an adventurer. Lime says that it is not necessary because he is going to give up being an adventurer. Later, Lime was sitting under a tree, and Shen appears and asks him what he is going to do now that he has resigned. Lime tells him that he doesn't know and asks him who they are and who the weird guy is. Shen tells him that he may be weird, but he has a good heart. Shen gives Makoto a gift to Lime, a katana. Shen proposes that Lime work for her and gives him a lot of money. Lime agrees to work for Shen. Emma tells Makoto that there is a problem related to them. The soldiers lost confidence with the training because they cannot beat Shen and Mio. Makoto tells Emma that he would like to see how everyone is. Emma tells him that the orcs should be on their break, and Makoto asks Mio if he wants to accompany him. Makoto eavesdrops on what the orcs are saying, and they don't want to go to train with him because no matter how hard they try, they know they will fly into the air. Makoto says it's more serious than he thought. Shen appears and says that lizards think the same way as orcs. Shen tells Makoto that he has an idea. The best warriors of each race will fight each other to show how strong they are. They start to fight. A lizard attacks an orc, but the orc creates a barrier and protects himself. The lizard tries to attack again, but the orc breaks the stage with his attack. Makoto gets excited but tries to keep a neutral expression. The lizard uses his wind attack and hurts the orc. He tries to attack him, but the orc grabs him by his tail and throws him to the ground, winning the fight. Shen says that he is sure that they fought to the death, but that they both had a bad fight and that he is disappointed. He asks that all the races help each other to become stronger. Makoto speaks and says that he agrees with Shen, and that they should work as a team. Later, Shen and I register again in the guild, and they were comparing their level of power. Mine has 15-0, and Shen has 13-40. The girl asks Tomoko for a favor on behalf of the guild. She tells him that her best adventurer has retired, and that others are very injured because they have very few people. She asks Makoto if he can train someone to be adventurous. Makoto tells her that he knows a couple of adventurers who pass level 100. Shen is in charge of training the adventurers very severely. Some monsters attack them, and their attacks fail. Shen stops the monster and asks them why they keep attacking head-on. He tells them that 3 must attack, and the alchemist must support and heal. Shen helps them by giving them an attack plan. They listen to him and manage to win. The alchemist says that the tails are worth a lot of money, and that the poisonous claws are too. But without wanting to, he is punctured with the claw and poisoned. Shen returns to the guild and tells the girl that he left the group in a burrow of dark tales. The girl tells him that with just level 100, they can survive that is known as the suicide path. But the group returns to the guild and they say that they killed everyone. Shen tells them that they are approved and that they are ready. Makoto asks Mio if he can look for the ambrosia flower. Mio tells him that if it is to create more medicine. Makoto tells him that before they used ruby joss, but he would like to use the original flower to have a good product. Mio tells him that he will do it, but he asks what Makoto is going to do. Makoto tells him that he is going to prepare the store. Makoto asks Rembrandt if he can rent a place to put his shop there, and Rembrandt agrees to help him. He recommends that he go to a neutral kingdom and open his shop there. He has an acquaintance in that kingdom who can help him. Makoto tells him that he will do it and thanks him, and then returns to Aku. Mio arrives at the Tanarak forest with the group, but 2 girls are watching them. Makoto discovers that the debilitating magic does not affect him, and Shen says that Makoto has become stronger. The other races of Aku held a banquet on behalf of his master, Akina, a relative of mine. He can now fully transform into a human. Akina tells him that apart from finding the ambrosia, they went to try several different dishes. Makoto asks him if his Alks race got used to living in Aku, and Akina tells him that they are very happy living there. Later, Makoto talks to the dwarf who prepares his armor and weapons. The dwarf tells him that he is envious that Shen and I always accompany him. Makoto asks him if they don't feel suffocated living in Aku, and the dwarf tells him that they feel very good living in Aku, which is a paradise for them. Makoto proposes to the dwarf to work in his store that will open in Sage, and the dwarf says yes because it sounds fun. Later, the orc appears that Makoto cured when he hurt his hand trying to cut the tree. Makoto says that he remembers it, and the orc is surprised that he remembers. Makoto apologizes for making him work too much, and the orc tells him that, on the contrary, he would like to be useful to him. Later, Shen and Mine were eating under a tree, and they feel a presence and get scared and go looking for Makoto. Makoto was practicing with his bow, and Mio appears. Makoto is scared that Mio and Shen are there, and Mine approaches him and asks him if he is alive. Makoto says yes, and he does not understand anything about what is happening. He asks Shen what is happening, and Shen tells him if he was practicing archery. Makoto says yes. Shen asks him if he was training all this time, and Makoto tells him that yes, something happened, and Shen tells him that he died several times. But Makoto does not understand anything since he is alive. Shen tells him that Makoto scattered his consciousness, hit the target, and then he shot him. And Makoto says yes. Mio, crying, tells him that consciousness can only be dispersed when one dies. What Makoto did is considered suicide. Makoto says that everything is fine since he is still alive. Shen explains that the growth of mana has a limit, that no matter how much you train, you will never exceed that limit. But by dispersing his consciousness, Makoto exceeded that limit, and his mana does not stop growing. Makoto can't believe that just happened for shooting some arrows. Makoto asks Shen if he can't shoot any more arrows, and Shen tells him that he can, as long as he doesn't concentrate. The level of mana he has is equivalent to that of the goddess, and his mana is also growing in the world of Aku. Makoto is surprised at everything, and Shen tells him that Aku exists because of a fusion between Makoto's powers and hers. If the goddess finds out about all this, it is very likely that she will come to kill him. Makoto says that he already saw it coming. Shen tells him that later, she is going to come up with a plan and asks Makoto to take Mine. Makoto listens to her and goes with her. Shen says that she never imagined making a pact with someone who can become a god. Another day, Makoto was going to buy things for his store and a bag fell on him, but a girl goes to pick it up. Makoto helps her and sees that it was a cat girl. A woman appears and tells him that he is very kind. Makoto realizes that he is in the red zone of the neighborhood, and the woman tells him that she has no clients and she is bored, and that she is going to give him a special service. But Shen and Mio appear and take him away. They throw Makoto on the bed, and Makoto asks them what should happen. Shen and Mio look at him, but they don't say anything. Makoto wants to escape, but he can't. Makoto asks them if it's a joke. Shen tells him that since he is so slow and innocent, they carefully tried to tempt him, but it never happened. But when they saw him with that woman, they saw that he didn't dislike Makoto. Makoto tells them that he only ran into that woman by chance. Shen tells him that she doesn't believe him, and Mio tells him that if he's not satisfied with them, Makoto loves them as a family and doesn't see them with different eyes. But he doesn't want to say something so cheesy, and tells them that they're both very nosy. They both get offended, and they tear Makoto's clothes and they start to take off their clothes. Mio ties his hands with her spider web, and Makoto gets scared and uses his powers to escape. Shen wonders if they went too far. Emma sees Makoto and asks him if he's fine, and Makoto says he forgot he was on the second floor. Emma sees him with his torn shirt and tells him that the dwarf finished a new armor that he should try on. Then Makoto goes with the dwarf and puts on the armor. Mine appears, and Mine apologizes for what happened last night. Makoto tells her that he is not upset, but not to do something like that again. Mio tells him that she understood, and an uncomfortable situation is created. Makoto tells Mio to go right to negotiate with the race that protected the Ambrosia Silver, and Mine is excited and says yes. They go to the forest, and Makoto realizes that they are following him. Mio uses his powers to distract them and escape. They arrive where the ambrosia grows, and Makoto remembers his little sister and asks for Mio's hand. Mio is surprised. Makoto tells him that he reminded him of his little sister, that it is not what she thinks. Mio tells him that he will gladly take his hand. They both walk hand in hand around the ambrosia, but they are interrupted by two girls. They tell them to leave the forest. Makoto tells them that they are not bad, but Mio gets angry, and Makoto tries to calm her down. The people who are following them before appear and say that they are going to take all the ambrosia. The forest keepers realize that the intruders are human thieves. Makoto tells everyone to calm down, but Eri attacks them with magic. Makoto nullifies Iri's magic and the other girl attacks them, but Makoto manages to repel the attack. However, Mio is still angry. While running away, Shen speaks to Makoto telepathically and tells him that he might know what's happening. But he didn't want to interrupt because he and I were on a secret date. Makoto asks him to do something to distract the adventurers, and Shen suggests using her fog to open a portal. Makoto uses her magic as a distraction and Shen teleports the adventurers with her portals. In the process, Makoto hurts her hand and tries to use her blood. But Mio licks her hand and she wakes up. Makoto uses light magic and destroys the girls' weapons. The adventurers are transported to the Mirage City. Makoto manages to make the two girls listen to him and explains that he came to negotiate, not to steal their ambrosia. The two girls, Iri and Aqua, take them to their town and they meet the town elders. There they find out that the forest ogres are the ancestors of the elves. Later, Aqua reintroduces Makoto and Mio to their teacher, but Makoto doesn't want to see him. The teacher appears and breaks the wall to shake hands with Makoto. Mio hits the teacher and flies off. Makoto asks Mio to investigate that teacher and Mio accepts. Mio discovers that the master of Aqua and Iri is possessed by a demon. Makoto asks Mio to switch places with Shen. Later, Makoto sees the master grabbing someone and absorbing his life force, and the demon appears, revealing that it was inside the teacher all along. The demon attacks Makoto. But Makoto does nothing because the debilitating magic does not affect him, and nullifies his attack. Makoto attacks the demon and begs him not to kill him. Makoto tells him that he is not going to kill him. Shen appears, and Makoto tells him to take the demon away and teleport him. The elders tell Makoto that they were planning to execute him as soon as he lowered his guard. Shen appears with an old man, but Makoto does not recognize her. Shen tells him that he does not recognize her because she has that shape. And the old man remembers and tells everyone that she is the dragon Shen. They all kneel down, and Shen says that they should do that with their master Makoto. The elders are surprised. Later, Makoto questions the demon, and the demon tells him that he did all that to become a grant. Makoto asks what that is, and the demon tells him that a grant is the evolution of humans, a being that surpasses humans in every way. The demon asks what magic Makoto used to defeat him, and Makoto tells him that he used dark magic. The demon does not believe him and insults him, but Shen and Mio threaten him for yelling at his master. Makoto asks him if he can sell him his grimoires, and the demon thinks it's strange that Makoto wants to learn his techniques. Makoto tells him that he really wants to learn. Shen tells him that everything he learned was in vain because the only ones capable of traveling to other worlds are the grants. And Makoto thinks that his parents are grants. Shen tells the demon that if he wants to make a pact with his master to learn new things. The demon asks Makoto if he needs his help. Makoto says that he just wanted to travel to another world like him and tells him that if he needs his help, they can begin to make a pact. The demon transforms into a long-haired boy, and Mine says that they have to teach him how to treat his master. Shen has a headache, and an explosion is heard, and Chen falls to the ground, bleeding to death. Makoto asks Mio to stop the bleeding and heal Chen and asks Lick to go with him to the explosion. Makoto and Lick run, and Lick gets tired and says that he is not used to using a body like the one he has. Makoto tells him that if he can heal Hokuto where they are, then he should do it. Lick uses his healing magic, and Makoto runs and sees Hokuto dead and Emma crying. Lick tells Makoto that Hokuto is not dead and that Makoto has healing magic that can revive him. Makoto uses it but can't and uses another Kai inside another Kai and manages to bring Hokuto back to life. Lick tells Makoto that he is going to cure the others. Emma gives Makoto an orc's necklace and tells him that the humans are in that direction. Makoto goes and sees the origin of the explosion. He also sees several portals with adventurers on the other side. The portal's close and Makoto puts his hand into one and sees the memories of the adventurous woman. The woman reaches Sage and a mist appears and Makoto appears. The woman is scared and threatens Makoto with her sword so that he doesn't come close, and Makoto pulls out a short sword that the orcs gave him like the one who died because of him. The woman attacks Makoto and Makoto cuts off her hands. The woman tells him to leave and Makoto kills her and says that it is the first time he kills someone, and he begins to cry because the world where he comes from is sad when someone dies. The next day they made a funeral for the orc and the fragment of Shen. Later, Makoto names the Lick and Shiki. Shiki likes his new name. Shen tells Makoto that now that he killed that woman, he must be ready to be the king of Aku. Mio begins to argue with Shen because of who the two are. She has a better connection with Makoto. Later, Makoto tells Emma that they are going to build a wall so they think that there is nothing more after the Mirage City. The next day, Makoto was with Rembrandt and he tells him that in the place he told him before there are many schools and there is a lot of knowledge there, and he asks him when he plans to go there. Makoto tells him to leave his shop in the hands of his colleagues and then go as soon as possible. Makoto tells him that he lied and takes off his mask, and Rembrandt tells him that when his wife and daughters change shape, he still loved her the same, and no matter what appearance he has, he will continue to trust Makoto. Makoto tells Shen and Mio that he will take Shiki on a mission since Shiki used to be a human investigator, and he does not believe that he will destroy the city. Makoto gives a souvenir of him to Shen and Mio. They fire Makoto and Shiki and head on their mission, but the goddess finds him and teleports him to Makoto. A girl named Sophia appears and attacks him and manages to cut off 2 of his fingers. Sophia attacks Makoto and he creates a shield. Makoto asks them why they are attacking him if he didn't do anything to them. Sophia tells him that they are not on the side of the humans but of the demons, and that makes them enemies. Makoto attacks them, but the boy covers himself, and Sophia uses his sword as a shield. Makoto tries to run away, but there is a wall of swords, and he almost steps on one. Sophia appears and attacks Makoto, but he manages to create a shield. Sophia uses her ring and nullifies the protection that the goddess supposedly gave Makoto, but Makoto says that the goddess did not give him any protection. The boy asks him how is that possible if it fell from the sky bathed in its golden glow. Makoto says he wonders the same thing but has no reason to fight with them. The boy introduces himself as Lancer and tells Makoto to prepare to die. Makoto takes off a ring and releases a bit of its power. He creates a bow of fire and uses the arrow that the dwarves made for him. Sophia tries to deflect the attack, but she can't, and Lancer's shield breaks. Both are surprised at how strong Makoto has become. Lancer asks Sophia to help him return the power he gave him, and Makoto attacks again using water magic. Lancer uses a water shield, but Makoto manages to penetrate it. Makoto is happy, but Sophia attacks him. Makoto uses his sword to break Sophia's sword. Makoto is surprised, although they are the weapons of the dwarves. Sophia hugs Makoto and takes him to the sky and drops him. Makoto uses his powers to destroy the swords of heaven and with a bow of water attacks them with a huge attack. Sophia and Lancer survive, and Sophia says that her suit tore and she was left naked. Lancer says that he lost a leg, and Sophia says that if Makoto survived, he will find them again. Makoto wakes up in a bed with she and Mine sleeping next to him, and he realizes that he recovered his fingers. Later, Shen introduces another chibi version of her. She used the nucleus of one of Makoto's rings, and her power is not the same as before, and she does not have the memories of the previous one. Makoto greets her and says that since she is a small Shen, he will call her Kamo. Shen tells Makoto that she was born with her power, and that she is practically like his daughter, and little Shen tells her father. Mine gets jealous and starts fighting between them. Later, Makoto goes to his store that he opened in Saige, and people seem to like the store. Later, Makoto thinks about his parents and how he would like to discover things about them little by little. Emma calls him for her farewell banquet and Makoto goes with her. Makoto thinks that the world is not as bad as he thought, but Chiki calls him and tells him that something is wrong and that Shen and Mio are starting to fight. And Makoto says, I take it back. The future doesn't seem so bright.